Diddy doc is now out on Netflix. So
they consider a pre-existing beef, right? For 20 years, right? It's me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me, type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's gonna say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
Who buys the rights to your criminal story and puts a doc on Netflix because he can? Boom, nigga, I'm gonna put a documentary about all your shit on Netflix while you in jail.
Now, he's got some intel that should be close enough, right? So, does he have some details in the documentary? What if the documentary is just text messages back and forth from them two about what actually happened in the situation?
Like he got access to her phone just to take screenshot. all of this shit going on the doc. All of it.
What's crazy about this is that I thought it was a joke. I didn't think that Netflix and 50 Cent were really going to collaborate to come out with a documentary about Diddy.
You can't continue to keep hurting people and nothing ever happens. Just a matter of time.
This is so much bigger than beef at this point. This is not beef. This is a lifelong vengeance between the going back and forth about baby mamas and now a documentary. Oh my God. And I'm not going to lie, I'm locked in. I want to see it. I actually want to know who's participating in this documentary, who's going to be there. But this is real because both 50 Cent and Netflix have confirmed it. It's happening on December 2nd. I'm actually kind of surprised that Diddy's team wasn't able to put a stop to this because I know he hates this. I thought they would have been able to stop this from happening, but if it's up, it's stuck. And 50 Cent, he always gonna troll Diddy.
I think my favorite thing about 50 Cent's Netflix Diddy documentary is how he built a timeline off of this information. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary is them really getting into the timeline of events when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. And it really gives us a lot of perspective from people that were close to the situation. And a lot of people allege in this documentary that they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in the Vibe interview. And they lay out this whole timeline of the downfall happening perfectly, in my opinion. We are even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings already. So this is one case that I am definitely waiting for and I am going to cover. In Keefe D's 2008 proffer agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. And Keefe D told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that Keefe D alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac. And we have Greg Kading getting into what happened with Biggie. And Greg Kading alleged that Diddy wasn't helpful at all in the investigation into what happened to Biggie. We saw a lot of different records being put on the screen where it said he did not want to give any more info at this time. And this was at the hospital where Biggie passed away. And I also noticed this document that flashed on the screen that was from investigator Russell Poole. And Russell Poole said that he called Miss Wallace to update her on the investigation and that she was frustrated and angry that no one had been arrested for her son's unaliving. After bringing her up to date on the case and explaining our frustration with the lack of cooperation from Puppy Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, plus Biggie's own entourage's lack of further assistance in the investigation, Miss Wallace calmed down and understood the situation. Ray Kading said in this documentary he believed that Diddy did not cooperate with Biggie's investigation because it would have led investigators back to him with Tupac's unaliving. I always remember the saying that when you solve one of their cases, you will solve the other. And that's why I honestly can't wait until Tupac's trial. And we had Kirk Burrows even speaking on the situation with Biggie, how he was the one in charge of planning this London media trip for Biggie that he was supposed to be on the night that he was actually unalived. Kirk Burrows claims Diddy is the one that canceled this trip and Biggie did not want to go out to Los Angeles. And Kirk Burrows feels like Diddy should be responsible for what happened to Biggie. What Kirk Burrows alleged next is what's really chilling. He said something that we have heard alleged many times, and he said that Biggie was actually leaving Bad Boy Records shortly before he passed away. Kirk Burrows alleged that Biggie already signed the paperwork to get out from underneath Bad Boy. Then Kirk Burrows went on to allege that after Biggie passed away, Diddy came to him and told him to change the terms in the contract that Biggie signed. And he claimed that he was so calculated that he told Kirk Burrows to just switch out the middle pages. That way on the last page, Biggie's signature would still be there. That way Diddy could allegedly keep racking up money from Biggie. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite things about this Diddy doc is literally it's a full timeline of events laid out in front of your face. And this part of this documentary definitely had me intrigued. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
So far, my biggest takeaway from this Diddy documentary is the most dangerous person you will ever meet is an insecure man. Because every single action that Diddy did that hurt somebody stemmed from his insecurity. And it is his childhood insecurity that stayed with him his whole life. And with him not dealing with that, it bred greed and jealousy within himself. He was envious of all the other people around him that he felt like he was better than, and he felt like he deserved their spot. And when he eventually did earn his place in the world and people saw him for what he was as far as like having his talent, he still was envious and greedy. And it's so crazy because like when you're dealing with an insecure man that has as much greed and pride as Diddy does, nothing is ever enough for him. Diddy could have easily championed himself off of being the producer that's super forward thinking. Even though he's not musically talented, he can curate a vibe and he has a great ear for music. Diddy has one of the best ears for music, you know what I'm saying? As far as like in, not even just hip hop, but like music in general. Diddy is extremely talented in his own way, but since he's not talented in the way that he thinks is normal and other people think is like normal, he doesn't feel like it's enough. He has to take from other people. He has to take other people's spots. And that's why you see him constantly trying to steal side pieces from dudes. Constantly trying to force himself onto like his artist platforms and trying to make himself the centerpiece. And this is exactly what happens whenever you live under patriarchy and you're forced into a certain role that you can't uphold. I talk about this shit all the time, bro. And the part that really drove that point home for me was whenever they were talking about how Diddy was pretty much a soft kid. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his ass kicked all the time. And his mom was beating the hell out of him. And she did it to make him a stronger man. But whenever your core basis is to be soft and you're faced with extreme violence and you shrink back into yourself, as a little boy, right? And your mother's forcing traditional masculinity onto you through violence and punishment. This is the result, bro. You grow up to be an insecure man that's constantly overcompensating to force himself into being the type of man that they think that they should be instead of just being the man that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly overcompensating because deep down, you know that you're still that scared little boy, that soft little boy. And you feel like if you let your guard down and if you let this facade of traditional masculinity slip, everybody's going to see you for what you really are.
Diddy is pissed about the new documentary that dropped about him today. And let me tell you, in the last 2 years, we have gotten a lot of documentaries about Diddy, but I've never seen him go off like this on any of the other ones. This documentary, which was produced by 50 Cent, does feel very different than all the other ones. If you love documentaries, hit follow because I post daily and you'll never miss out on what's new. Though the other documentaries about Diddy provided a platform for survivors of Diddy to tell their stories, a lot of them had this tabloid feeling to them. This one has a lot of the same information plus a ton of new information, and it feels very grounded. Aside from that, Diddy filmed himself in 2024 prior to his trial, and the filmmakers of this documentary obtained that footage. I don't know if Diddy was planning on using that for something good, and now it's in this documentary about him, which is wild. The filmmakers of this went hard. They found a lot of archival footage, archival photos, interviewed as many people as they possibly could, and they covered a lot of ground. This is really disturbing, and a lot of the stuff talked about in this documentary is really disturbing, and it kind of makes Diddy's conviction horrific. He should have got more time. Let me know what you guys think about this in the
I don't know who 50 Cent knows, but he got it all, okay? Go watch this. Today is the day that Netflix finally released all 4 episodes of their new docuseries, Sean Combs' The Reckoning, and it's produced by 50 Cent. Literally, as of yesterday, we didn't even know if we were getting this because apparently they have unseen footage that was not approved. But in true 50 Cent fashion, he said, I don't really care. I'm releasing it tomorrow. And we got all 4 episodes. And he has pulled in everybody. I don't know who 50 Cent knows and how he got all this footage and these people to talk about everything, but he got them all. I mean, the people who worked for him, all people who were in videos. He got girls from Danity Kane, from Day 26. Former assistants, people who used to work with him, people who helped him start Bad Boys. And the unseen footage is insane. Dead ass unseen footage has never been in any other documentary. And while I'm only on episode 3, the entire thing is very well put together, like at a very good pace, giving you all the information. I mean, episode 1 is literally a buildup of Diddy, like about his mom, his dad, how he came to be, literally how he became the man he is today. Episode 2 is the Biggie and Tupac thing, which, let me just say, way messier than you think. And I don't know where 50 Cent found all this. Granted, he is pulling in a lot of people who have over the years said negative things about Diddy if you watch any TikToks online. But Al B. Shore is in this and he kind of explains how Diddy and Kim got together. And right now I'm just getting to the Cassie part and already the buildup, my mind is blown. And not only are they tying in the current trial, they're tying in everything else that has happened and led up to this. So get your snacks ready and put that phone down because you need to see all 4 episodes of Sean Combs' The Reckoning that's streaming only on Netflix. And I mean, 50 Cent got into it immediately as soon as the show starts.
Do you know how much you have to hate someone to make a documentary about them? 50 Cent say, when they go low, I go to hell. Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it at first until I knew that 50 Cent was going to do it.
That Keith E.D. tape, how has Diddy never been tried for Tupac's murder? That tape is crazy. So I've just watched the first 2 episodes of this and I had to get on here because I could not believe what I was seeing. This documentary is literally like watching the most evil, manipulative, oh my gosh, just the most calculated narcissist being exposed in such a clear way. Everything he was doing was in plain sight. I'm sitting there and my blood is boiling. And let me not get started on the sacrifice, the 9 people who were killed when he over-promoted that gig at City College. And this was just before he blew up. And then it's plain sight, the whole Biggie thing. He was supposed to go to Europe to do a tour. Next minute, he's holding a concert on enemy territory and he's coincidentally killed. And then this guy is elevated to the height of his career. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but this Tupac thing, the footage, the tape has never been shown before. It's never been fully released previously. So I'm hoping that this is going to bring some further charges because do you know what? Justice for Tupac.
The way, this don't got nothing to do with nothing, but the way 50 Cent is a petty patty needs to be literally studied. Now, some details surrounding this documentary that 50 Cent and the lady Alexandria is putting out on Netflix. Some real interesting details of how petty, and it makes me wonder how deep this situation with 50 Cent really is. Because you can't be this mad because this man asked you to take you shopping. You went through these lengths, you that petty. I have so much to say on this. 50 Cent went on Good Morning America with the Alexandria girl, and they was talking about the documentary that's supposed to be released at midnight tonight, which will be on December 2nd. Okay, I know Saints is going to be running to see that messy mess. So I think the name of the documentary is called Sean Combs, The Reckoning or something like that. And allegedly it is him documenting, like Diddy actually documented himself days leading up to his arrest. And what they're saying happened is he hired this guy for another reason. And they're saying that the reason was originally for a documentary for Netflix. But Diddy allegedly got mad at Netflix because he couldn't have creative control. He ended up calling the deal off with Netflix, but this is what the footage that he was shooting for was for a documentary that he was going to do himself. That's why this is so interesting. And 50 Cent is petty. He's such a petty. I'll tell you, this man is crafty. 50 Cent is crafty. You can't tell me he is that bothered by P. Diddy that he went through these lengths. This is what's blowing me. Now, I do got something to say on 50. Okay, I actually vibe with 50 because I ain't never heard his name in no mess, but that don't mean it ain't. So they're saying that Diddy team was upset with Netflix because because the footage was issued and they never confirmed the footage for release or anything like that. And these were private moments. That was some comments from Diddy's team. Now, what I'm hearing is the guy that shot it was kind of mad because Diddy didn't pay him. They had something going on. This is all alleged, okay? Well, allegedly, it's going to be a 4-part series. Now, here's my thing about 50 really adamant about doing this. It was a smile for me. This man was cheesing from ear to ear about this. Now, I know everybody have their dirt, okay? Everybody have their little dirty time in this life. But I am a firm believer. When your time come, you gonna want some grace. And we know that Diddy, because I didn't report it on Diddy, I didn't tell y'all everything. We know Diddy did some stuff, okay? But this, to me, you doing a whole, I'm not feeling that. I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it just because 50 Cent is the funniest person alive to me. But I'm only going to watch it because it was some interesting clips that they had put in there of him saying, "Oh, my hands is nasty," because he was shaking people's hands. He was like, "Yeah, you know, I got to be in the public eye, you know." Sir! Meanwhile, to my point, I really hope 50 Cent... What is that man's real name? His name ain't Edward. What is his name? I know his real name. Anyway, I really hope he don't have no dirt because the way he is doing Diddy about this whole thing. Look, the man that got charged. He's in jail. Leave it alone at this point. You just said, I'm finna knock him down while he already down. I just pray that Curtis, I think his name is Curtis. I just pray that Curtis, 50 Cent Curtis, whatever his name is, I hope you on a straight narrow path, because when your time come, you don't do stuff like this. Now I get it. I ain't with it either. I ain't with Diddy and what you just don't. You going too far for me. My spirit is in an uproar about you, and then you getting the glory about it. You smiling. It's just the cheesing from ear to ear in that interview is what's sending me. Woo! But y'all, I'm gonna be waiting up to see this. I need somebody's password, somebody's Netflix password. DM me.
So do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. Right. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. Right. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. Right. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. Right. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue. Yeah. And my moment of pain, when I was shot 5 times in jail for a crime I didn't commit, While every other black person, I mean, whoever, they was fucking babies in the ass or killing bitches and cutting them in 50 pieces. These niggas got support. I go to jail for a crime everybody know I did not commit, get shot 5 times, and I'm getting raped in jail, wompty, wompty. They just saying anything to assassinate my character. What that showed me, remember this lack of a conscience when I come out. Remember this lack of mercy when I come out. Remember this lack of compassion when I come out. But now I come out, everybody want to calm down and relax and forget what you said. Donnie Simpson was on TV in front of bars like this going, who am I? Tupac. But I'm wrong.
All I can say is, wow. I watched the first episode of this 4-part docuseries on Sean P. Diddy Combs, produced by 50 Cent. And the question still remains, how did Netflix get this footage? I want to know who leaked the footage. I want to know how much Netflix paid for the footage. I want to know the person who delivered this footage to Netflix. Because the first 5 minutes of this series, it's literally Diddy talking to his lawyers days before his arrest. And you had to be a close person to get this footage. Ooh, so what happened? I think people are going to watch this documentary because they want to know what dirt 50 Cent got on P. Diddy. And there's a lot. The moment that really stood out for me is when it talks about the relationship between Diddy and his mother, Janice Combs. The documentary alludes to Janice putting hands, abusing Diddy. And then the screen goes black, and it literally says, Janice was asked to comment and she denied our requests. Crazy work. When I tell you this documentary is crazy work, I mean, y'all gonna watch it because it's gonna go to number 1. Maybe not number 1 because Stranger Things is at number 1, so it might be number 2. But y'all gonna watch it, so I don't have to tell y'all to watch it. But watch it.
Thanks for riding the wave. More hits coming soon. Please subscribe, like, and share.